It was a rainy evening, the kind where the world feels heavy, and every drop on the windshield seems to echo the quiet loneliness inside you. Jason, a single father juggling his work and the care of his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, was driving home after a long shift. The streets were unusually empty, and the headlights cut through the pouring rain like tiny beams of hope in a world that often felt too dark. That's when he saw her, lying on the roadside, barely moving, her body bruised, and her eyes filled with a quiet, pleading terror. Instinctively, Jason pulled over, his heart hammering. Something about her felt familiar, though he couldn't place it. As he approached, his mind raced with questions, but there was no time for hesitation. A man like him couldn't walk past someone in need, not when his daughter was already learning what it meant to care for others. He carefully lifted her into his car, struggling with the weight of her body and the shock of her injuries. The rain splattered against the windshield as he drove, dialing emergency services and trying to keep her awake with soft, soothing words. "You're going to be okay, just hang on." Her lips trembled, and she whispered something he couldn't catch. Something in her voice, fragile yet familiar, tugged at a memory buried deep inside him. When the ambulance arrived, Jason stayed by her side, refusing to let go. He felt a protective fire he hadn't known existed, a connection that ran deeper than mere sympathy. In that moment, the world outside the ambulance faded, leaving only the two of them, one broken, the other desperate to fix what he could. At the hospital, Jason waited hours that felt like years, pacing the sterile corridors, his mind spinning. Doctors came and went, delivering updates in clipped, professional tones, but all Jason could hear was the fear in his own chest. Finally, when the attending physician stepped out, his words froze Jason in place. "She's stable, but the injuries are severe. We'll need time and intensive care." And then, as if fate wanted to shatter him further, the doctor added, "Do you know who she is?" "She's Emily Carter." Jason's heart skipped, his blood running cold. Emily Carter, the woman who had once been his college sweetheart, the woman he had loved and lost when life pulled them in different directions. He remembered her smile, the way she could light up a room, and the pain of letting her go. Seeing her like this, helpless and broken, cut through him like nothing ever had. He stayed by her side that night, refusing to leave, watching over her as she slept fitfully. Memories of their past flashed through his mind, the long walks in autumn, the laughter, the shared dreams that had been cruelly interrupted by circumstances neither of them had controlled. Jason realized, in a way he hadn't before, that life was fragile, and the moments that mattered could vanish in an instant. Over the coming days, he took time off work, balancing hospital visits with caring for Lily, who was too young to fully understand but wise enough to sense the gravity of the situation. Emily's recovery was slow, each day a challenge, each movement a victory. And through it all, Jason rediscovered feelings he thought he had buried, a tenderness and hope that life could still surprise him with grace. Jason found himself torn between two worlds, the reality of a daughter who needed him, and the woman from his past who now needed him in ways he could never have imagined. Emily's paralysis forced them both to confront vulnerability. Simple tasks, once taken for granted, became mountains to climb. Feeding, bathing, and assisting her were not acts of charity, they became acts of love, of humility, and of patience. Jason struggled, yes, but Lily often offered the simplest wisdom. "Daddy, she needs us," she would say, her tiny hand reaching for Emily's, bridging the gap between fear and hope. As weeks turned into months, Emily's progress, though slow, inspired a transformation in all of them. Jason learned to navigate a world of hospital visits, therapy schedules, and sleepless nights with grace. Emily, in turn, discovered strength in accepting help, in trusting others, and in finding joy in small victories, a smile, a successful movement, or simply a shared joke. They began to rebuild a bond, different from the one they had lost but richer, shaped by resilience and the unspoken understanding of survival. Emily's eyes, once filled with fear, now held a spark of life, a glimmer of the woman Jason had fallen in love with, renewed and redefined by hardship. Through the trials, Jason, Emily, and Lily formed a new kind of family, one forged not just by blood or past love, but by shared struggle and unwavering support. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers became part of their journey, offering help, encouragement, and sometimes just a listening ear. The experience left Jason with an unexpected gift, a profound understanding of what it meant to care, to forgive, and to embrace life even when it seemed cruel. And as Emily took her first independent steps with a cane, the room erupted in tears and laughter, a moment that encapsulated the triumph of hope over despair. Jason held her hand, feeling the weight of the past, the pain of the present, and the promise of the future all at once. By the time Emily returned home, life had changed irrevocably, but beautifully. Jason had not only rescued her from the roadside but had also rediscovered the enduring power of love, family, and resilience. Their story, marked by tragedy and redemption, became a quiet inspiration, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, compassion and courage could illuminate the path forward. And as they sat together one evening, watching the sunset spill golden light over their modest home, Jason realized that sometimes, fate has a strange, miraculous way of giving second chances. A beaten, broken woman on the roadside had returned to his life, and in doing so, had healed a part of him he didn't even know was wounded. This story is crafted to hold viewers' attention from the first hook, Jason finding Emily in the rain, through the emotional highs and lows of care, struggle, and rediscovery of love. The pacing allows for natural pauses and narration suitable for YouTube, and the ending leaves a clear, inspiring message: hope, resilience, and human connection can turn tragedy into renewal.